Hello everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be making up some more buttermilk biscuits as I promised y'all. I wanted to do some made with lard, which is the old-fashioned way that they used to make them way back then. But they are really good biscuits, and I prefer them this way. But I mean, like I said, they're good either way with butter and lard, butter and shortening. But I like to make them this way, and I wanted to share that with y'all because there's so many different ways people, make their biscuits. But I'm going to make these ones with y'all, and let's get started, and I hope you enjoy them and give them a try. Okay, first off in my bowl I have 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Okay. And next I'm gonna be adding 2 teaspoons of baking powder. I like to use the aluminum free baking powder, but if you don't have any, the other one will work. It just a little bit too much metallic taste for me, but I'll put 2 big teaspoons in here. 2 pretty big teaspoons. Should have just went with a tablespoon actually. 2 big teaspoons of baking powder. Just go with a big tablespoon, I guess. That'll work. And after that, okay, this is going to be surprising ones. You guys are going to be like, what is she doing? But I ran out of salt, okay? One day, and I had this. Popcorn butter salt. You can't go wrong with that in your biscuits because it's butter flavor. So I tried it and it's really good. But if you can't find it, just use a regular teaspoon of salt. But I'm going to use this, which is it's salt basically. It's all it is. It's just butter flavored. That'll, and it gives the biscuits a pretty color too. So a teaspoon of that, if you can find it. Let me show it to you once again. It's right there where the spices are at. Alright. So we have that. Let me get my whisk. If I can find it. Here it is. Alright. I'm going to whisk this up. Get it all mixed up. Or you can sift it. Get it mixed up real good. Now I'm going to explain again in case anybody didn't watch my other biscuit recipe here in a little bit. We'll get that going, but I like to use the snow cap lard, but where I went, they didn't have it, so I had to get this one. Pure lard. So we're going to put some of this in. Probably, well, I don't usually measure, so it's kind of hard for me to, let's see what we got going here. Probably about 1/3 of a cup, I'm thinking. Something like that. Let's see. Yeah, about 1/3 of a cup. About 1/3 of a cup. And now I'm gonna mix this up with my pastry blender here, or a couple of forks, and make sure your lard is nice and cold and your buttermilk is cold. I should have brought that up in the begin with, you guys. If you this biscuit, I do use buttermilk, but if you don't have any, just add a pretty good tablespoon of vinegar to your whole milk. You do want whole milk. Gotta be whole milk. You don't want no skim or 2%. We're not counting calories here today. But just add that in there, and it'll sour your milk for you, and you have some buttermilk. Like I said, I don't ever have it on hand. I don't buy it because, it's so easy to make it up yourself just by adding that vinegar. And if you don't have any vinegar, maybe you have some lemons. good tablespoon of lemon. But I'm going to get this all worked up, guys, till it's coarse crumbs, and we'll be right back. Alright, got that mixed up, coarse crumb. Okay, next step here, we're going to add our buttermilk. Alright, going to add a little circle here, so I get to the bottom of the bowl there. I like to add my buttermilk in there. So I got about a cup of buttermilk here. I may need more, I may need less. It just depends on how dry your flour is, the humidity. So I'm going to add this in there. Okay. I'm going to mix this in. Now it's very important you don't overwork this dough. I'm just slowly adding flour in this circle. Slowly bringing it in. I'm not stirring it around. I'm just slowly adding the flour in. Now, as I mentioned in the other video, this is where a lot of people go wrong. And they're like, I can't make them. They come out like hockey pucks, whatever. They're hard. They didn't come out. It's because a lot of people are adding too much flour here. They think, oh, that dough's sticky. That's not right. Add more flour. Don't do that. Because sticky is key. You want it to be sticky. You're going to generously flour your hands when you're working with this once we get it out on the board. So just follow me here and just watch what I'm doing, and you'll pat yourself on the back. Learn how to make some biscuits, because they're not as intimidating as people think they are. They're really not. You just got to get the hang of it. But the dough is going to feel pretty sticky and wet. But you do want it that way, so remember that, alright? Okay. Alrighty. Now, I'm going to flour my board here. See here what I'm doing? This is where you're going to add flour to that dough. That's kind of sticky in the bowl. That's why you don't want it, you know, real dry in the bowl where people start adding all this flour, and I can't work with that. That's a sticky mess. Yeah, you can. Just now here's where I'm gonna flour my hands. That way my hands don't stick to this. This is pretty sticky. It's sticky dough. But you want it that way. And just gently work with it. Pat it. And you'll see where it's sticking or whatever. Wherever you see it sticking, just lightly coat it with some flour. My hand's getting a little sticky here, so I'm going to coat my hands with some more flour. But just not a whole lot of flour. Now I'm going to fold this dough, creating layers. This is what gives you a flaky biscuit. You can pat it or roll it. And then I'm going to fold it over again. We're creating layers. I like to do this maybe 4 to 5, maybe sometimes even 6 times. But it just depends on how the dough's going. You don't want to keep working with it. Okay? Because the more you work with it, the more you're adding flour in. So just be careful not to do that. And we're going to go for... Now, if you want a real smooth top on these, roll it out. If you can actually roll it a little bit and then pat it, and that's where you get the wave look, the kind of bumpy looking biscuit that looks so pretty. Or if you want the canned biscuit look, completely roll it. Okay, I'm going to do this one more time. And a little more flour down here, not a whole lot. Now my grandbaby's lost my biscuit cutter, so I'm using their sippy cup. How about that? Whatever works. I used it last time too. Okay, I'm going to pat this out to maybe an inch thick. Now I'm going to give it, I'm using my hands to do this with, so we're going to have them wavy, lumpy looking biscuits that look so pretty. So I'm going to pat this, like I said, maybe an inch thick. Get them cut out. And it's very important for you guys to remember, preheat that oven. We're going to do these in a 450 degree oven, and I like to start them in the middle rack, and I let them cook in the middle rack for maybe 10 minutes. Then I'll move them all the way to the top rack, because they'll get even browning. If you go turning the broiler on them, some of your biscuits get dark spots. So start them in the middle, preheated 450 in the middle rack for 10 minutes, and then I'll move them to the top and let them finish there. And I usually let them bake between 15 to 16 minutes, something like that. Now we're going to cut these out. And do not twist. Don't twist, because when you do that, you're sealing your biscuit. You don't want to do that because you're preventing it from doing its full rise. So straight down, that's it. Okay? And it just depends on what size you use. I'll probably get about 6 to 8 biscuits from this. And I'm going to put them here in my greased cast iron pan. We're going to get them in here, and I'm going to brush the tops with some buttermilk lightly, and I'm going to get them in the oven. So we'll be back in a bit. Okay, a quick note, you guys. I forgot to mention, I did say 450 preheat it middle rack, but once they cook for 10 minutes, move it to the top rack, and I usually turn the oven up to about 470. So, and then finish cooking them up there, and they'll get that nice golden color on them. All right. Okay, I wanted y'all to see before I put these in the oven here, I'm gonna just lightly brush them with some buttermilk. You're not gonna saturate them by no means, just a little bit of that milk mixture that was left there in that cup. Just put a little bit of it, that on there. Alright, I wanted you to see how they are. You do want them somewhat close together so they have room to climb on one another. That's what makes a nice tall biscuit. If you separate them, you'll get your crusty edges. If you like them like that, that's your preference. If you want them crunchy, separate them. If you want them soft and you want them tall and you want them to, be tall and nice and fluffy, put them not quite touching. See there how I have them? Not quite touching, but we're going to get these in the oven, 450, middle rack, and be back. Alrighty, here they are. Just got them out of the oven. They cooked 16 minutes exactly. So now that they're nice and hot still, I want to brush them with some melted butter. Lots of melted butter. Lots of melted butter. You're just going to you want to do this while they're nice and hot still. That way that biscuit just sucks that butter up. Lots of butter. And we have some butter here. We like to, eat them however you want. We're going to enjoy them today with some syrup and some jelly and some butter. But I slathered a lot of butter on these. And please do make sure it's real butter that you're using on top of those biscuits. Had to point that out. Let me get this stuff out of the way so y'all can see here what the finished product looks like. Aren't those pretty, you guys? Look at those. And they're so... Now, what I like to do with these, when they're done, I like to put them in a bowl with a towel, a clean towel, kitchen towel, wrap them up, and they get nice and pillowy soft. But if you like them with the crusty bottoms, eat them now. But if you cover them with a nice towel, take them out of the pan, because this cast iron is hot. You don't want them to keep cooking, so I like to get them out of here. But these suckers are hot, but I want to open one up. Look at that. Look how nice. Let me get that in there. And tall that biscuit is. Look at that. And they are hot. Let me move this out of the way so you guys can see these here, how fluffy they are. Look at that. They're so fluffy. Slap some butter on them suckers and some jelly, but there they are, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video today. We'll be back in, probably another 4 or 5 days, shoot another video for y'all. But until then, please like and subscribe. And I hope you enjoy these biscuits and have yourself a wonderful morning. Thanks for watching.